As we mentioned, today is the first day of Black History Month. And while we should be celebrating the beauty and triumphs of all things Black in history and culture, we're going to talk about a topic that ironically proves out why this February observance is necessary. I'm talking about critical race theory, an academic framework traditionally used in collegiate level courses that examines how racism in America has shaped public policy. Most K through 12 curriculums don't teach the concept. Yet 2021 saw many Republican-led states launch all-out attacks on CRT. According to analysis from Education Week, roughly 36 states have introduced legislation or taking steps to restrict teaching critical race theory. This since January of last year. The attack on CRT has continued into 2022, with states like Mississippi recently making headlines for efforts to ban how teachers can discuss race and systemic prejudice in the classroom. Mississippi state senators met last month to vote on SB 2113, which will prevent lessons based on CRT from being taught in classrooms. As a show of solidarity and in protest, all Black members of the delegation walked out of the chamber during the vote. But the bill still passed 32-2, with the only votes against the proposal coming from white Democrats. The bill now moves forward to the House, but one group is fighting back against the measure's passage. That's why Chauncey Spears joins me now. He is an education policy analyst at the Mississippi Center for Justice, a nonprofit public interest law firm committed to advancing racial and economic justice. Chauncey, good evening and welcome to Amplified. Tell us about what your organization is doing to combat these efforts from conservatives.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. Yes, we at the Mississippi Center for Justice, we have created a platform, Teach History Mississippi, that will inform and make aware the citizens of Mississippi why this issue is so important. First, it kind of defines exactly what critical race theory actually is, and also it kind of lays bare the challenges that we're seeing from this proposed legislation that really is not attacking critical race theory. It's really attacking any kind of educational effort, K through IHLs, institutions of higher learning here in the state, that addresses racism as a systemic phenomenon, endemic to the development of the contemporary realities that we see here in our state and around the country, and how it's going to curb the academic freedom and the sacred space that is our public school classrooms throughout the state. This is a challenge for us because this is not new in Mississippi. We've seen efforts from the legislature and from others throughout our history to try to control the type of history that, or the story and the narratives that are being told about the past here in Mississippi, about the challenges with Jim Crow, about the challenges with slavery, the challenges with the Native American removal from lands here in Mississippi. We've seen this before. And so this, once again, is rearing its ugly head as a way to kind of keep the citizenry in the dark about how we got to where we are today. And I think that the Center for Justice has done a lot to try to make these things aware and make people aware of exactly what's happening and what we can do to combat it.
Your colleague at the Mississippi Center for Justice, Vangela Wade, recently wrote about how this bill whitewashes history for political propaganda, writing, quote, "What's happening now is nothing more than a naked power grab aimed at turning classrooms into a political battlefield. Lawmakers and education officials are crafting convenient narratives absent of facts. If we want to move Mississippi forward, we have to reckon with past sins and teach all of history, not just the parts we like." It doesn't seem like these Republicans want to move forward. It looks like they're afraid of the progress made by the new American majority. Am I wrong here?
Well, you're exactly right. And I'd like to also add to what Vangela Owens was saying. About the idea that we have made progress in this state. Just in 2020, we repealed the state flag that had emblazoned on it the Confederate battle symbol. In 2017, we opened a public museum dedicated to the civil rights history of the state of Mississippi. In 2006, a law was passed, ironically, that actually required civil rights and human rights history be taught in our K-12 schools. And so this progress that we've made over the past 10, 15 years seems to be being thrown away in light of this new political movement to try to maintain a sort of a racial hierarchy in terms of power and political access through civic engagement crippling with this kind of legislation. So I do believe that indeed that the progress that has been made here in the state of Mississippi is being thwarted by this attempt to try to curb the free exchange of ideas in our public school classrooms.
It's interesting that if you ask someone that supports this bill, they tell you that they don't intend to erase history in any way. Republican State Senator Michael McClendon said something along the lines of, all it does is say we're not telling any child that they're inferior or superior to another. I find this to be hypocritical because history has taught Black and other non-white children that they are inferior. Have you seen any concrete research or data that these bans would enhance the education process?
Oh, no. Indeed, what we've seen is that when students do not engage critically with the racial past, the racial history of this state and this nation, we see that they lack the empathy that it takes to really be prepared for the world of 21st century work and democracy. We are in a diverse country. The workforce expects the students who are coming out of our classrooms, our high schools, or our colleges with diplomas and degrees to be able to work in diverse settings, to be able to understand difference and diversity as a strength and not as something to be ignored, something to be discredited. And so when students don't learn about other cultures, when they don't learn about how racism has affected other people, they tend to not have an understanding and not have the soft skills that we call it to be successful in these types of work environments and also in the type of democracy that our country demands in the 21st century. We have to be sensitive to a reality that people will think differently, look differently, believe differently, act differently than you are, and that's okay. But it seems like these lawmakers are still trying to create a closed society where people think all the same, they're all homogenous, and that's just not the reality that our children are going to be thrust into as they become adults when they leave our institutions of higher learning and our K-12 institutions throughout the state.
Chauncey Spears, you are just speaking so much sense right now. And when you say our children, it includes their children who themselves won't be competitive if they get the kind of education that they're gunning for. Thank you so much for joining us here on Amplified and discussing this topic with me. And a happy Black History Month to you.